be discussing what is being called the deadliest school shooting this year.
Followed by a look into where the first confirmed case of the Omicron COVID variant hits the U.S.
And finally, exciting news from the world of Disney. All this and much more on this episode of The Report.
Hello, I'm Chris Adler.
I'm Amanda Mendoza.
And I'm Jorge Flores. Follow us on Twitter at The Report CSUF or on our Talent TV Instagram, Talent TV CSUF, to keep in touch with us and view our new content.
A Michigan teen has been charged as an adult with 1 count of terrorism and 4 counts of first-degree murder after he opened fire Tuesday at Oxford High School in Oxford, Michigan. The 4 victims killed were Madison Baldwin, Justin Schilling, Hannah St. Juliana, and Tate Meyer. 15-year-old Ethan Crumbly was arraigned yesterday, where prosecutor Karen McDonald charged Crumbly as an adult and says they may also be looking to file charges against his parents. Both Crumbly and his parents were at the school on the day of the shooting that left 4 dead and 7 others injured. Oxford High officials summoned Crumbly's parents to a meeting at the school to address concerning behavior involving their son. Crumbly used his father's automatic 9mm Sig Sauer handgun purchased by his father just days before the shooting to carry out what prosecutors are calling a premeditated shooting. According to the Oakland County Sheriff Lieutenant Tim Willis, a search of the boy's home revealed, quote, 2 separate videos recovered by Ethan's cell phone made by him the night before the incident, wherein he talked about shooting and killing students the next day at Oxford High School. End quote. The sheriff also said a journal was found detailing his desire to shoot up the school and murder students. Police believe Crumbly had intent to shoot more students than he did, as they found 2 15-round clips and said there may have been a 3rd somewhere else. Crumbly pleaded not guilty and is being held without bail under standard suicide watch. If found guilty, he could face life in prison. So I'm sure you guys recall at the beginning of this semester, we reported on a school shooting, and we said before the semester's over, we will see another school shooting, and here we are. At this point, again, I mean, how do we even approach this? What is the real issue? Is it gun control or is it mental illness?
You know, well, first of all, that was very, very important what you just said, Crystal, because that's true. We said in the past that it was going to occur once again, and now here we are. Yeah. The thing that now I don't have any personal expectations about what is to come in the future for the United States when it comes about legislation on gun control. I mean, I know there's not going to be no big change in the future. There is no major change coming in the future, none from the Republicans or Democrats. It's not going to happen. There's going to be no gun control issue. The thing that it makes me very sad is that this is going to continue happening again and again. From the other side, from the other perspective, I'm glad that he's being charged as an adult. I understand he's still a child, but I mean, I'm glad that he's charged as an adult because now the authorities, they are changing that perspective on how to deal with these types of cases. You know, in the past, people, they were just being like, oh, you know, he's a child, it's okay. Yeah. He could spend a little bit of time on jail, but then he's gonna bail. No, I mean, this is a new perspective that I like, that it's the way it should be. Who are guilty from this? Him, of course, and his parents. I mean, this was premeditated. He knew what he was doing. So I'm glad for the results up to this moment. I'm still expecting something in the future, but I know there's gonna be no major change when it comes about the legislation that we have.
I agree, Jorge. It seems like that what happens every time is that a shooting happens and then Congress or like other people say, oh no, how terrible. People don't kill people. Sorry, I apologize. I mean, guns don't kill people. People kill people. But the issue is that people have an easier time killing other people with guns. And so that's a really interesting point you had there, Crystal, whether or not it's due to mental illness or gun control. And while I do think that we should handle mental illness in a better way, maybe continuously promotes therapy to these students, that way they ensure that there's always someone who's willing to help them. But at the same point, end-to-end gun control is an issue. If he already had problems, if Ethan already had these problems and people knew about it as seen by the meeting that morning, although we don't know exactly what went on there, I still think that it's important to realize that we still need to control these guns. And so I think that's something we should keep track of.
Well, I think that it needs to be attacked from several different areas. Mental illness needs to be addressed. Teachers, when they see a student, and the school did summons the parents of Ethan, but it was too little too late, and I think teachers need training. When they see something, they need to say something. We need to take it seriously when someone is showing or displaying any kind of potentially disturbing behavior that could potentially result in something like this. Amanda, you made a point earlier in the semester that yes, guns don't kill people, people kill people, right? You made that argument. And that's true. Yes, people can find other ways to kill people, but not as expansively as they can with guns. And so, is it going to solve all of the killings? No, but can we reduce them? Yes. And, but his father purchased this gun. His mother, there were reports that his mother posted saying, a Trump supporting comment saying, "Thank God for my right to bear arms." So the prosecution is looking at the parents here. So we're talking teachers, parents, mental illness evaluations, and gun control. I mean, there's not one single solution, but I think that addressing those issues, we might be able to start seeing some kind of reduction in these school shootings.
I completely agree. I think things hopefully will get better in the future. Breaking news coming from the Center of Disease Control, as the first case of the COVID-19 Omicron variant was detected in California yesterday. The first detection of the variant infection was discovered in the city of San Francisco after a traveler that was fully vaccinated who had just returned from a recent trip to South Africa on November 22nd. This first case in the United States came just right after the new COVID-19 variant was detected in at least 20 other countries. In a statement made by the CDC, the individual who was fully vaccinated only had mild symptoms and has been self-quarantining since testing positive for the variant. When asked by the media, White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci stated that the individual did not receive a booster shot, but all the close contacts of the individual has tested negative so far, and that their illness is improving at this point. Fauci said, quote, "We knew it was just a matter of time before the first case of Omicron would be detected in the United States," end quote. Dr. Fauci added, quote, "We know that we need to protect people. Get vaccinated. If you're not already vaccinated, get boosted if you've been vaccinated for more than 6 months," end quote. The World Health Organization and scientists feel that the new variant is a high risk, and scientists don't know yet if the vaccinations reliably protect against the new variant. In response to the new variant, the CDC announced that the country will push the requirement of negative COVID tests within 1 day of departure for all air travelers entering the United States. They are also mandating that the airlines turn in the names of passengers who have been recently in any of the 8 southern African countries where the Omicron variant is known to be spreading. At the White House, President Biden's response to the variant best described it as a cause for concern, but not to panic, and promised not to create tensions amongst other countries with new travel bans. So, according to Reuters, Japan enacted a travel ban that closed its borders to new travelers. And according to DW, European countries have banned travels to South Africa. So, for example, Germany has determined that South Africa, as well as countries such as Zimbabwe, Botswana, and other countries, are high risk. So, I actually have some mixed feelings in regards to what's happening right now. So personally, I understand having restrictions now while we figure out how this virus works and if the vaccine works against it. But at the same time, I feel like that after a few months, we can't just keep closing off the world, opening the world, closing the world, opening up the world, because the flu also has a variety of variants. And while I understand coronavirus tends to be, much riskier for people, especially in regards to people who aren't able-bodied, and, it's a serious concern, I'm just wondering, at what point do we accept as society this is an endemic, not just a pandemic for a short period of time? So I'm getting mixed feelings. So I'd like to ask you guys, do you think that the reactions to the variant have been reasonable so far?
Well, in my opinion, first of all, I like that you made a point. When it comes about the frontiers, the borders, we cannot just close and up once again. That's for sure. There's an interesting fact. When it comes, for example, in our south border in Mexico, they're already thinking again to close borders to people who they want to travel as a tourists here at the United States. So that's very interesting. In my perspective, to the Biden administration, because in the beginning he said that he was not going to close the borders, and now he's doing it, just like how he was criticizing very hard Donald Trump in the past. So it's very interesting to see how he's telling us not to panic. But I mean, we don't really know how dangerous this variant is. I mean, we know it's high risk, and we gotta be careful for that. Also, we can't be surprised about the serious measures that we need to take, just like we were in 2020. I mean, most probably we're gonna close some of the borders once again. Probably we're gonna be closing some businesses. Probably we're gonna be closing public events like concerts. I mean, we cannot be surprised about this. And we also have a second case of the Omicron variant already in Minnesota. There was a person who went to a convention in New York, and after he came from New York, he got it. So, like Fauci said, Dr. Fauci, it's just about time. And I think it's going to be increasing the number of cases that we're going to have. For now, I think, yes, I mean, get vaccinated if you feel that's going to make more protection to yourself. Get boosted, use hand sanitizer, social distancing. I mean, I think it's all in our hands.
Well, when I saw that he was putting the travel bans on, I was relieved because, and I completely understand what you're saying, Amanda. I mean, if we shut down again, we shut down the travel. I mean, it's burdensome and it creates a lot of issues. But if we don't do that and we have this new variant and we don't know, like you said, Jorge, how people are going to react to it. Not everybody is vaccinated in America, as we know. It's still a very divided topic here. Then we are going to have to shut down again. So if we don't put the travel bans on and we don't kind of stop it at its source, then we are also, I mean, I understand like it is an inconvenience, but at the same time, then we are going to shut down again. And so I understand President Biden's move on doing that, and just, it was so new, and we have to halt it where it is and get some kind of control on it. Hopefully that's not a long-term thing. Hopefully this will prompt more people to get vaccinated, but I think my immediate reaction would be to do that too, because we don't know how deadly it is. We don't know how we're going to react. We don't know how we'll react to variants of the virus. But like you said, Amanda, this is not just a pandemic. This is something we're going to be dealing with this for a very long time. And so like I said, I hope that this will prompt other people to get vaccinated, because we're not going to see an end to this anytime soon. So.
Totally. This is about years. So hopefully that we can make our part as citizens and get vaccinated, get our measures done. And from now on, just to keep in mind that maybe we're going to get more variants in the future from this virus.
Yes.
After what was supposed to be a time of celebration, after just being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, instead becomes a tragic time of mourning for music legend Clarence Avant after hearing the news that his wife, Jackie Avant, was fatally shot in Beverly Hills Tuesday night. Beverly Hills PD got a call at 2:30 a.m. for a home invasion. The caller told the dispatcher someone had been shot. By the time they arrived, Jackie had already been rushed to a nearby hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Jackie Avant, at age 81, was a local philanthropist who was president of the Neighbors of Watts and served on the board of directors of the International Student Center at the University of California, Los Angeles. Although not clear yet how many suspects were involved, police say at least one suspect broke into the Avant's residence when he opened fire on Jacqueline. One of those bullets struck her in the stomach. Clarence was not injured. Despite being very alert and responsive to paramedics when they arrived at the scene, to aid Jacqueline, the family was shocked that she didn't pull through according to the law enforcement. The residence did have a security guard in which he was shot by the suspect as well, but chose not to return fire. The suspect or suspects fled the scene and have not been found. This incident is one of many, with the influx of crime typically seen in the months leading up to the holidays. We bring in Sergeant Clyde, Public Information Officer for the Fullerton Police Department. Hello, Sergeant Clyde. Thank you so much for joining us at the report. Has your department seen any trends in crime like we have in the LA area, like smash and grab and follow home robberies?
Traditionally, we do see an increase, especially around the holidays. It might be just a little bit early to see on some of those smash and grabs, but we have seen an increase in residential and commercial burglaries, but not the typical like you're seeing in LA with the smash and grabs yet. But yes, definitely during the November, December, we do see an uptick and an increase in those type of crimes.
So I'd like to ask you, has your department amped up its presence or taken any measures to help discourage criminal activity in the city during this time?
We generally will deploy some extra resources. We have a bicycle patrol unit that last year went out during the Black Friday shopping time, and we patrolled all the different parking lots and areas that we did see an uptick of crime from the previous year. So we're aware of it. We do everything we can with the resources we have to help combat that.
Well, Sergeant Clyde, what advice can you offer to the Fullerton community to better protect themselves during the holiday season?
One of the biggest is to make sure that you lock and secure your valuables, make sure that they're not in sight. So when you go from shopping center to shopping center, make sure that you don't leave your purse, your cell phone, bags, backpacks, things like that inside of the car. Make sure the vehicle is locked, make sure your residence is locked. And then if there's anything suspicious or out of the ordinary, make sure that you contact the police department. Don't be afraid to contact 911 if you think that there's something abnormal in an emergency situation, and let us come out and try to see if that we can investigate and do some follow-up with it.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Sergeant. We really appreciate your service to our community. Please stay safe.
You're welcome.
So, such a sad story with what happened up in Beverly Hills, and it is one of many. We do see more crime during the holidays, and I know you both have seen it. All the robberies, the smash and grab robberies. It's so sad. And I'm just curious, do you think that do you think that all police departments should amp up their security and put a presence out there at all shopping malls? I mean, is that a practical thing to do?
In my opinion, I think that's practical. In my opinion, I also think that that's gonna scare the public, that they are gonna know and they're gonna feel that they are not secure anymore, or at least like from other times. Yeah. And like we just talked this past episode about the man who was with his family and he was just grabbing some food at LA. Yeah. I mean, it's just the same thing. If it's increasing these types of crimes, I believe the public, they're gonna get more scared. Yes, I think it's very practical for police officers to have some presence on public spaces, but I know that the public, they're gonna get more scared from what we have. And like we mentioned, I mean, we're just living in holidays. So I don't feel that connection between security and trying to have fun with your family at the same time.
That's a really good point, Jorge. I'm having mixed feelings. So part of me says, yes, that would be a good idea. That way we could prevent these robberies or prevent these crimes from happening near the holidays. But also in context of this tumultuous time where people have varying opinions on security guards, on police officers, like kind of to connect back to what you mentioned, Jorge, that may make a lot of people feel very unsafe. So I have mixed feelings, but hopefully these issues will be settled in the future. So who knows?
Yeah.
And I think, just like Sergeant Clyde said, we really have to be vigilant and be aware of what we're doing. I leave my phone and my purse and my, on my seat when I go and grab my kids, and I'm like, I'll just be a quick second, and even in my garage, I'll leave my purse sometimes in my car. And I found myself not doing that, locking things now, because it does, gives them an opportunity to do that. So it really has to start within us, and just be vigilant out there. Be vigilant, especially as women, be aware of your surroundings. Don't go into dark lit places, and try not to go places alone, especially when you're shopping, just to be safe. And with the holiday season in mind, the Downey Cemetery is holding an event on December 18th to honor the over 500 veterans buried at the cemetery for the holiday season. The cemetery has partnered with Wreaths of America, a nonprofit organization that travels throughout the country to honor those who have bravely served our nation. The window to sponsor the wreaths has been closed, and the cemetery itself will cover any remaining need of additional wreaths to make sure each and every veteran receives a wreath this year. This will be the first ever Wreaths of America event held by the cemetery, which dates back to the 1800s. The cemetery still needs volunteers, so if you would like to honor a veteran by laying a wreath at their gravesite, you can sign up to volunteer at the link below. Again, the event will be held on December 18th at 10 a.m. And it's really exciting. I actually signed up to volunteer, and I'm going to bring my boys with me, and we're going to go lay some wreaths down, because I think it is so important never to forget those who have fought and some that have died, and to protect our freedoms. And I'm trying to teach my children to appreciate our freedom, and that freedom is not free.
Yeah, no, that's true. I just think it's a great way of honoring people who they sacrifice their lives and the way they serve to our country. And Like you mentioned, I think it's an important value when it comes about honoring. The word honor, it's something that we lack today, nowadays, but we for sure need that for our future generations.
Well, I think what they're doing is just incredibly charitable, and I'm so happy that you're doing this, Chris. So I think that's absolutely amazing. So thank you for contributing. Okay, Home Alone fanatics, Airbnb has just announced that they will be letting 4 lucky people stay in the famous McAllister home for just $25. Airbnb will begin accepting requests for the December 12th overnight stay in the real house from the actual movie. Buzz, Kevin McAllister's annoying older brother, will host the overnight stay, but only one group of 4 will be chosen to relive all of the memorable moments from the movie. Guests will eat Chicago pizza, 90s junk food, and of course, enjoy candlelit dinner by a bowl of microwaved Kraft macaroni and cheese. The perfectly decorated house will be filled with memorabilia from the movie, including photos of the Buzz, naturally. If any of you filthy animals want a chance to relive 90s nostalgia and maybe even feed Buzz's pet tarantula, Airbnb will open the contest on December 7th at 2 p.m. So, unfortunately, I have to admit that I've never seen Home Alone. But I think for someone who hasn't, I would love to be a part of this. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Have you seen the movie? And would you sign up for this?
Of course, because I'm a 90s kid, I definitely have seen all of the movies, and it's such a Christmas classic. So if you haven't seen it, you definitely need to see it. And when I found out about this, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to be part of that nostalgia. But you have to have whoever gets to the computer first and puts their name in is going to be the one chosen. So you have to have very fast fingers, and the chances are going to be really slim. But I mean, have you seen the movie, Jorge?
I've seen it. I mean, like you said, it's a classic. I mean, it's super funny. I love the movie. I'm gonna participate. Who knows? I mean, I think we should do it. We should do it.
All of you at home should try it.
Like,
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it's very interesting, like, to be like with other 3 people, selected for this activity. I mean, I'll be taking pictures or something, like, for sure. Like,
and it was
Exactly.
really the actual house, and they try to recreate every scene. There's going to be booby traps and stuff that you get to participate in, and all the hijinks from the movie. So it's actually going to be really fun. So whoever wins that, I mean, they deserve it for sure for making it. But I'm going to be so jealous.
Yeah, I think we should all participate. So I think that will be like the best. Get this. Wish that we have that luck, and hopefully that we can be part of that activity. Who knows? Who knows? So if you're excited about the Home Alone house, chances are you'll be excited about Disney's latest announcement. On December 12th, Disney will be premiering an entirely new exhibition called All the Glitters, the Crown Jewels of the Walt Disney Archives. Curated by the Walt Disney Archives in conjunction with the Bowers Museum in Santa Ana, the new exhibition will let visitors and fans alike witness the original jewelry and accessories from the beloved movies like Titanic, The Princess Diaries, the 1996 adaptation of William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, and many more Disney and 20th century films in a way that they never been able to before. Guests are invited to walk through a magical display of earrings, cufflinks, rings, tie pins, and more back to the Disney films and parks that they originated from to tell the story of the Walt Disney Company. In a statement made by the Bowers Museum, they said, quote, "When custom design is done well, small pieces of jewelry blend inseparably into the style of the characters that wear them. But these objects are what make Disney characters timeless. All that glitters looks at the iconic crowns, tiaras, watches, rings, bracelets, and more that were designed by some of the biggest names in fashion to create our favorite moments in entertainment throughout the Walt Disney Company." End quote. Wow, that's nice,
exciting,
right?
Especially for Disney fans. And Orange County is like the mecca of Disney fans, obviously,
Exactly.
with
Correct.
Disneyland being here. And I'm excited to see this myself. This is an approach that I don't think Disney has never done before.
Never
So this
before.
is going to be really cool.
First time.
You know, actually, this will really motivate me to go to the Bowers Museum because actually, when I was in high school, the Bowers Museum was really, really, really close. But for some reason, I just didn't go. And I was telling my family that I would love to go together with my siblings and my parents. But hopefully, this exhibit will just get us out there because I think costume design and especially jewelry is just so intriguing, could really make a character, but something that not everybody thinks about when they're watching films.
Yeah, I think it's just like an exciting experience. I have my sister and she loves old Disney movies, so I bet that she will love that. So I'm gonna invite her, and probably she
Spread the word, and anybody who's a huge Disney fan will appreciate that for sure. So,
Yeah.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
I'll say, actually, I mean, in my perspective, it's The Lion King. It's like a classic, when I was a boy, like
Classic.
ever. So,
Yeah.
what about you? Like, what's yours?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. Frozen, Princess and the Frog, Tangled. I
Princess
could
and the
go.
Frog.
There are many more, but I will stop here. I'm a big Disney fan.
Oh my God, Lion King. That I still watch it. I love that movie. It was so well done. The music was so
Yes.
good. But for me, I think if it had to be one, it's Beauty and the Beast. That's
Oh,
my
lovely.
all-time favorite since I was a kid. I love that story. It never
Super
gets old.
cute.
I know.
So
Super
touching.
I love it. So I mean, I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take my kids. That's gonna be really fun.
So look out for that. And
Yeah.
with that, that's all the time we have today on the Report Roundtable Discussion. It's been a riveting and informative semester with so much historical news and shocking headlines. Thank you all for being on this journey with us, tuning in for all news and updates. We could not do this show without our viewers. So thank you. We wish you a beautiful and safe holiday season and prosperous new year. Signing off for the final time this semester, I'm Jorge Flores.
I'm Amanda Mendoza.
And I'm Chris Adler. As always, stay safe, Titans.